I would like to share with everyone the first time I was ever aware of the light. Actually, I shouldn't say aware because I've been raised with the light my whole life. Since I can remember, I was always taught about the light. But this incident forced me into using the light in a manner that I wasn't aware that it was possible to use it in. So it was, I want to say 2001, I think. It was the year right before the Olympics were going to be in Greece. And I remember there, Athens was all in a hustle to get things together for the Olympics. And I want to say on my 4th trip to Greece. I've done a lot of traveling in my life, and I dated a guy for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years that was first generation, born here, but very traditional Greek. And I must say, I couldn't have had a better mate to spend the majority of my San Francisco years with, or do this traveling with, because he was exactly what I needed. So we had a really good time. He had family there in Greece, so we went back to visit often. And this year, we went with a bunch of friends. I want to say at one point there was like 15 of us, which was about 14 guys and me. And so we were all having a really good time though. And we were getting towards the end of our trip. We were on the island of Santorini. We had been, island hopping for a couple weeks. And they have these like shuttle ferries, right, that take you from island to island. And everybody was, it was time to get on the shuttle ferry and go back to Athens because we had a flight the next day to London. Well, my boyfriend and I decided that we wanted to stay in Santorini another day, just the two of us, and that we would catch a flight the next day. They had told us there at the little travel office deal they had there, that they have these small charter planes, or 30, 50 people planes that make several trips over to Athens daily. So we're like, perfect, we don't have to get on this on the ferry. We're going to go ahead and take the flight tomorrow. So everybody else leaves, and we stay and have a good time, enjoy our evening. And the next day comes, and it's a windy day, fairly windy day. But never does it even cross our mind that they would put us on a plane if it wasn't safe. It didn't even cross my mind. You forget that in other countries, they don't have the same laws as we have here in the United States. So as far as security and stuff like that goes, they kind of do as they please. So I guess there's a good and a bad side of those kind of things. But we get on the plane, and it's a small plane, and we're, we take off, and we are over the ocean. We've maybe been taken off for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And the plane starts becoming extremely turbulent. And we're literally going like this, dipping in and out. And all of the stewardess are sitting buckled in. You always know to panic when they're panicked. And people are literally flying around the cabin, flying around. Somebody's hit their head on the ceiling and they're bleeding. People are throwing up. They're saying the last goodbyes to each other. There's this one woman, and she's just totally losing her mind and hysterically laughing, and she's got her camera and she's snapping pictures of everyone and just screaming about the devil and just insanity, right? And I look out my window and I'm looking straight down at the ocean. I'm straight down at the ocean, and we're plummeting towards the ocean, and whatever it was just told me to hold on. I held on to my armrests, right? And I closed my eyes, and I just kept picturing over and over again that plane landing on the landing strip, over and over again, landing on the landing strip, just surrounded in a bright white light. Over and over and over, the plane just kept landing on the landing strip, surrounded in bright white light, over and over again. And that's all I did the whole time until we were landing on the landing strip. And I remember us landing on the landing strip and everybody just being baffled, like, what happened? We were plummeting towards the ocean and we're landing on the landing strip now. And I remember the pilot getting on, and he spoke Greek, so I don't know exactly what he said, but it was translated to me that he was basically like, hey, I don't know what happened, but hey, we made it, you know. And he was like laughing, like hysterically crazy, like he couldn't believe it. He didn't know what was going on. And everyone was a bit shaken, you know. And at the time I was like 22, 23 years old, really kind of worried about where the bar was and how I was going to get my next drink, and you know, what kind of good time we were going to have in London. So I didn't really put a whole lot of thought into the fact that I had done this. It didn't even register to me that I was responsible for this. And I remember my boyfriend saying something about it, you know, just that he couldn't believe what had happened, and I had told him about what I had done, you know, about surrounding the plane in light. However, he wasn't big for spiritual stuff, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. So it was kind of like pushed under the rug, and we forgot all about it. And it wasn't until years later that I really started realizing that that's what had happened. I've had several incidences since that have just kind of like shaken me to the core and woken me up, which, you know, that's what they say happens in this life, is that there are things that come into your life designed to wake you up, and that's what's been happening. So that is the story of the first time I used the light.